Hi again, welcome to your new favourite weekly place for speedrunning updates, culture, and some exclusive chats with some very special people. We're going to aim to give you all of that within the 1 hour estimate, so you're going to have to lock in, because now it's time for SprintStream. And as ever, I am here with you, your right honourable Dr. Quizmaster, Toasty Stoat, and also with me as ever, I put the DLSS 5 filter on her, but nothing changed. It's Soth Angel.
Hello,
how you doing, Soth?
Nothing changed because I already was AI generated. I'm doing very well, Toasty. I'm doing very, very well. Thank you very much. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm pretty decent. I'm a bit knackered after, hosting this 7-hour archipelago session that we were both in yesterday. You as a player, I as a host. With some tech issues, so bit of context. We don't just run normal archipelago randomizer games. We always put like a silly little meta game on top of it, and this one basically had a hidden traitor mechanic, and it was a lot, but it went down well. I think it went down well.
Yeah, I think everyone enjoyed it. Trying to find the hidden traitor. It was unfortunate how it ended. But if it had gone for much longer, we would be talking like 8-9 hours of solid gameplay, which is a bit extreme even for my sort of tastes. Yeah.
Did anyone suspect you of being the traitor?
No, I'm too nice and too...
No.
Well, I mean, I was having so many troubles with getting Player Obscure to work with the archipelago. Like, I didn't have a character, it kept crashing and soft locking, nothing wrong with the game itself. It's just not supported fully with Archipelago.
So you got an EA experience, basically.
Basically, yeah. Launch. Yeah. So if I was the traitor, I'd had a fantastic time because all the work would be done for me. Like, I wouldn't have changed anything. But
brilliant.
The team I was on won. So happy days.
Well, congrats to them. Congrats to us because this week, our guests, that is right, guests are plural. They are top-tier runners of Dark Souls and Elden Ring, and Twitch partners, and I mean that in quite the literal way. It is the mayor and mayoress of Reset City, Catalystz and Puppery are with us. How are you doing, guys?
Hello. Doing well.
Hello. Same here.
Really glad you could join us.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thank you.
What have you been up to recently? I mean, in your more casual gameplay...
I've actually, speaking of Claire Obscure, I've been playing that a little bit because Puppery played it for the first time on her stream. And then she was like, this game is really good, you should play it. So we've been kind of playing it together. I mean, she's done with it. So she's hanging out with me as I just kind of chill and play it casually offline. So that's kind of what I've been up to.
Very nice. I got taste. Good taste, both of you.
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's honestly even more fun seeing it again. It's like knowing everything, seeing someone else play it for the first time is very, very fun.
Yep, I had exactly that with getting a friend to play the game. Watching everything, knowing all the story and everything, looking at the little hints that dropped in here and there and everything. It's just comes together very well. No wonder it's sweeping Game of the Year awards.
The joy of shared games.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I guess we're gonna really talk more about your kind of games, which are the Soulslikes, the Soulsborns, whatever you want to call them, the games that ordinarily make people cry in a casual gameplay. And you've decided to make that your thing. I mean, where did it kind of start for each of you playing these games? Did you start with the original Demon's Souls?
I mean, for me, it's a little bit of a funny story, actually, because I played a lot of variety, and somehow I landed on Genshin Impact, and I played that for a long time, for pretty much full time for a long time, and at some point, I got so fed up with the gameplay being so easy, and I just got really, really bored of the game. And I had people in chat suggest Dark Souls to me over years. And I always thought, I would never like that game. I didn't like the way it looked. Like, it was a little too dark. Like, I do like the bright and colorful anime games and all that kind of stuff. And so I always thought, I don't think this is gonna be my thing. But since I got so fed up by that gameplay, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try the hardest thing that I know of, which is Dark Souls. And for me, it was Dark Souls 3 that I tried for the first time. And pretty much 5 minutes into the game, I was just in love. And ever since that, I haven't played really anything else for years. And I just got completely swept off my feet, yeah.
I love the flex, though, of saying, the other things that I played were just way too easy for me, so...
I guess, but it was maybe more like the repetitive gameplay, because at some point, like, the people who know Genshin Impact would know that in the end game it just becomes very repetitive. Like, you basically just grind for better stuff, and it was during the time where they also were pretty slow on content updates. So you were waiting for months and months for any update, and then it was pretty much still the same. So I just, got just in general bored of it and wanted to do something completely different.
You wanted a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is it the same for you, Cata?
Well, for me, the story is a bit different, because before I played Souls games, I had already been a speedrunner for quite some time. And so at that point, which was like late 2017, I was looking for a new main game that I could probably run. And so unlike a lot of people who get into Souls speedrunning or challenge running because they love the game and they want to play more of it, I was like, I need to find a game that has a community that is hard and could last a while. And so I just picked up Dark Souls as a speedrun. So I had not even finished it casually, like, at all. I think I played like a couple of years before that, and I quit, I don't know, a couple hours in. I made it to Anolondo, and I was like, okay, ONS is kicking my butt, I'm done. And it kind of went from there in 2017. So I learned the speedrun, and I've pretty much been playing that, ever since, as a main speed game.
Nice. And I've got to, this is the point where I hold my hands up. I've got to say, like, I've never touched a Dark Souls game or a Souls-like. I feel like I would enjoy them. I'm just a pussy.
I would say you should try it.
Too easily.
Yeah, but you should definitely try it, because, I mean, maybe you'll be surprised and you're actually a giga gamer, and you'll first try every boss. You'll never know if you never try.
You never know. Well, on that, which of the Soulslikes would you suggest to someone to play for their first one? Because there's a few out now. It's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. There's a few options. What are you thinking?
It depends on if you're in for the long haul or not. Like, it's a little bit of a tricky question, because if you're gonna play most of them, like by From Software, I'd say just start with Dark Souls 1 and play according to the chronological release order, because then you get to see the marginal improvements that they were making and the changes, and it kind of makes sense to you how the game's developed stylistically, gameplay-wise. If you start with something like Elden Ring, which is, I would say, the most advanced one and also the most polished one, and then you go back to Dark Souls 1, it might be a little bit of a shocker for you how, like, the system's kind of degraded, right, from there. So if you're in for the long haul, I would say just start with DS1 and go onwards from there, or even Demon's Souls, for that matter. And if you are not sure if these games are for you, then I would say, like, start with Elden Ring or maybe Dark Souls 3, which is combat-wise the closest to Elden Ring. That's how I would say.
Yeah, like, I personally am someone who I'm very convinced that if I started with Dark Souls 1, I would have not continued with my Dark Souls journey. So I'm very, very glad that I started with Dark Souls 3, because it is definitely a lot more modern. And I think if I had been introduced to it with a little bit more clunkiness, I wouldn't have stuck with it. While with Dark Souls 3, I basically fell in love with the game, and then that way, because I was so in love with it, I was able to see past a lot of the stuff that Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 make it feel a little bit more clunky. And I still wanted to play it because I just already loved the world so much and the combat. And so that, I guess that's a little bit my recommendation, maybe, is Dark Souls 3. Also because it's a little bit more linear, so it's a little less overwhelming than Elden Ring. But I think it also depends from what games you are coming from. Like, if you've played a lot of open world games and you love open world, then I think you'll love the exploration in Elden Ring. I think the exploration there is wonderful. But if open world games feel a little overwhelming to you, then I do think Dark Souls 3 would be perfect, because it is very streamlined. You know where to go, and you just kind of make your way through the game.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay. So a couple of different ideas and thoughts to cater towards a different sort of person that might be getting into this. This whole, not just game, but the whole genre of games, really. Yeah, it's very much its own sort of thing. Again, it's much like Toasty. It's not my type of game, not the sort of game I've played much of at all. The Monster Hunter is the closest, but even then, that's not particularly close. Are there any other similar games, Souls-like games, that are popular, that are not by FromSoft? Or is it just very much, this is their area, no one else goes near it?
I mean, there's a lot of Soulslikes nowadays that try to emulate the style. I would say Lies of P is one that came the closest, so that was pretty popular, and that is actually really good. Like, I would recommend that one pretty highly, but otherwise, it's kind of hard to find a game that really does the combat and the world, the design and everything really that well. And it's like, it's a little bit of a meme in the Souls community, I would say, of like people trying to find something that is the perfect Souls-like, and it's really hard. It's difficult to find.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've played quite a few different Souls-likes over the past year or so, because I started kind of it's on hold now, but kind of a new series, Worst Souls-like Ever, where I try to play through different Souls-likes that have come out over the years, and, in an effort to search for the worst one. And so I started with
the worst one?
Yeah, so I started with some notoriously bad ones, but you find some gems as well, potentially, right? Like, you never know. And there's another thing, since I had not played them, a lot of people will talk to me and they'll be like, yeah, this game is garbage. And I basically have to take their word for it. I might have different preferences, so I want to see for myself if it's actually as garbage as they described it. But to circle back to the point, the idea is that there are so many small things that From Software have figured out over the years, right? Like, they released Demon's Souls back in 2009. Over the years, they've really mastered the art of animations, polishing their hitboxes, and world building and other aspects of the games that you kind of take for granted when you play FromSoft games. And then if you try a Souls-like by someone else, you will immediately notice that some of that polish is missing and how much it actually detracts from the experience. It's so important to have clear animations to know how to time your dodge rolls, for example. So if something is a little bit off, suddenly the boss does not feel intuitive, and you might not even be able to say why, but it just feels odd. It feels weird to you as a player. And you notice that a lot with Souls-likes, but I would agree with Pup that Lies of P was, I have not finished it myself, but it was one of the ones that gave me the most promise so far.
I've got to ask, because I was recently made aware of a game called Lies of Penguin, which is a Souls-like where you play as a penguin in the Antarctic, and it has giant bosses like a killer whale with like loads of machinery attached to it. Have you played that one?
No, but I'm pretty sure I've heard the name. Like, I feel like someone has told me about that one, because the idea rings a bell, but I have not had the chance.
Yeah, we're calling it here. I want to see the Cata playthrough of that. That's a world record challenge for you right there.
I've not heard of that one, so I have to look it up after.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned world record challenge. These kind of Souls-like games have a lot of different categories, right? And I know, Cata, you've run like all bosses. You're the current world record holder for all achievements in Dark Souls, right? And also all remembrances for Elden Ring. I mean, how much do these categories differ? Are they completely different in routing?
Yeah, for the most part. In FromSoft games, there's always a lot of optional bosses that you do not need to fight in order to have, your minimal kind of completion. So in order to do a fast playthrough, in terms of any percent, you just do that. You kill the necessary bosses. But then a lot of the content is also very fun, and a lot of the usually DLC bosses in From Software games are very high quality. So obviously runners also want to challenge themselves in those fights, and that's where categories like all bosses come from, or even all achievements, even though, funnily enough, usually DLCs are not involved in all achievements because they do not add extra achievements to the game. So it ends up being quite different routing-wise, and it is a little bit simpler in terms of Dark Souls speedruns, because most of the time the preference is clearly for glitched categories, because they are not as game-breaking as something like Elden Ring. Elden Ring had a few game-breaking glitches on release, And so it led us to like having to split up the categories not just per goal of the run, like all bosses or all remembrances in this case, because there's just way too many bosses, but also in terms of the rule sets. So you have categories like unrestricted, glitchless, but also restricted, where you basically allow just some glitches.
And yeah, so Puppery, is it kind of the same for you? You're sort of interested in running across all those different categories, or is there kind of a particular gameplay style that you usually go for?
Yeah, I'm actually not a speedrunner, so I'm a little bit of a fraud in this call.
You have completed runs, though. I know you've finished runs.
I've never speedrun, but you know,
that's not even true though. Like we've literally done speedruns together. So you can't say like we've done them together. So.
Yeah, true. I mean, we've done 2-player 1 controller runs at ESA.
Yes, I was going to ask about that, because that's like the cutest run category I've ever seen. And
yeah, it's really fun.
Like you're actually, I mean, it's not just a gimmick either, right? Like you're actually, well, it's insanely hard because you have to communicate with each other and have a system of knowing exactly what each other's going to do. And also, B, you both kick ass at it, right? Like so I did see you did like a full boss randomizer with one controller, and you managed to do it deathless. Is that right?
Yeah, we did it deathless and first try somehow as well.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's so wild.
Yeah,
it was definitely. We were also very surprised because in randomizer runs, I mean, we both play a lot of randomizer as well. And just generally, so many crazy things can happen. There just has to be one enemy in an odd place where you can fall off like a branch. There's a famous branch on a way to one of the most important bosses that keeps you from the later game. And on that branch, there's like 10 enemies or something like that. And if one of those enemies is randomized into something that has some sort of pushing attack, or it's just very big or chases you a lot, they can push you off the branch and you just die to fall damage. And that is so there's a little bit of strategy involved, like a little bit of RNG of how difficult that part is. And then of course throughout the randomizer you find certain things that can help you distract enemies, for example, or put them to sleep even. And so yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to consider during that run. So being able to do a randomizer, 2-player 1 controller, first try is definitely something we didn't expect, and that was very, very hype, yeah. That's very fun.
That's crazy. Like, was that an existing thing, or did you guys come up with that?
I mean, 2-player 1 controller has been around for, I don't know, a long time, and it's something that's when people know two streamers live in close vicinity in some way, they will always like be like, you have 2-player 1 controller with this person. So it's like a common thing. And then randomizers are just really popular in Elden Ring. And I mean, we were probably not the first ones to do it, but I don't really remember. But it's just combining the two is really fun. And yeah.
I've got a. This is the point where I say I have kind of sort of tried a 2-player 1 controller thing, because I used to, my kind of thing. Well, one of my things is boomer shooters, and I used to play a lot back in the day. And even before like YouTube was that big, me and a friend tried to do a similar thing whereby I moved and he controlled the shooting in these games. But more often than not, it just led to me being enraged at him. Like, especially in like physics-based puzzle games, he just knew exactly how to troll me by like throwing the object that we needed off a cliff.
Nice.
I don't think we were getting any records for that kind of gameplay.
Yeah,
just lack of practice. Needs time.
Yeah, lack of practice. Yeah.
It's a skill issue. It's a skill issue. Well,
a troll issue.
It's a choice of friends issue, I think. So we asked there about the 2-player 1 controller category. You said you've brought that to ESA before, right?
Yeah, we ran I think two or three times at ESA. No, I think 2 full runs and then 1 was an incentive. I mean, Cata, correct me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, like we've done a couple of showcases at ESA together. And sometime Pup was there in the capacity of being a co-commentator, which helps a lot because then I get to focus on the gameplay, especially when I need to think about some randomization challenges, for example. And then we did a 2-player 1-controller. We did a 2-player 1-controller Elden Ring run, any percent, I believe. And that one was quite interesting because that was at the time when ESA had breaks during the night, and our run was the last run of the day, and we kept the tech crew up for like another 90 minutes because we just went really overestimate. So yeah, that was a little rough, but that gave us motivation to come back. And ever since that time, the DLC for Elden Ring had released, so we came back with 2-player 1-controller DLC randomizer run. And there we kind of nailed it. Like, we went underestimate, we defeated the boss Malenia that gave us the most trouble on the first go, and yeah, I guess then we've done 3 2-player 1-controller runs, because most recently we had also done Elden Ring Night Rain, where I guess big part of it was the incentive for 2-player 1-controller, the last expedition. So most of the run was done 1-player 1-controller, but like 1/5 of it, I guess, was 2-player 1-controller, so I would count that as well.
Yeah, that counts.
Absolutely. Are you kind of cooking up anything else that you might be bringing to ESA in the future that's, you know, along the same lines?
Well, at the moment, I can't share any details, so I cannot confirm or deny.
Confidential.
Yeah, it's exactly top secret. Yeah, top secret.
That means there's something.
Maybe I cannot confirm or deny, as I said. But obviously, we plan to go to ESA Summer, so we are looking forward to hopefully submitting something as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the 2-player 17 controllers run.
That would be quite the sight. Running
every
between the
button is
controllers.
a single controller. Yeah, weirder things have happened.
2-player 1 controller, but it's a dance pad or something.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that would be chaotic.
So what's the I guess difficulty curve in trying to I mean, I was going to say in trying to run these games, but not even that, in terms of just getting a reliable skill set in finishing these, because it looks like what intimidates people, I think, from running Soulslikes in general is just the amount of investment it takes.
Yeah, I think it's a big knowledge check. Like, in the end, they're not the most technical games, right? You don't have to mash really fast. You don't have to aim as in you do in first-person shooters, for example. So it's a lot about knowledge, because the most you do is you roll and then you attack. So you basically have to learn a lot of the patterns of bosses. Now, with speedruns specifically, sometimes it's easier because there might be certain setups that you can do for bosses, so they're scripted in a way, right? Because there might be a phase transition that you can trigger once you deal enough damage to the boss, and so you ensure that you buff up enough to proc that. So in speedrun specifically, it might sometimes be a little bit easier than, for example, in a randomizer, where you have to kind of deal with the boss sort of casually in a way, right? But making sure that you do not die. So I think it's a big knowledge check, and one of the big things as well that I kind of almost forgot about, but have been reminded of recently because I came back to DS1 to do some rando recently. In DS1 speedruns, every death costs you a lot of time. Like, that's one of the biggest challenges, is that if you do not have the run down enough, you will suffer quite a bit, because you die to a boss and suddenly you have like a 3-4 minute run back. If you die again and you do not retrieve your resources that you left on the ground, the run might be completely dead, because now you cannot level what you were supposed to, and like the whole route is basically in disarray. And I think that might be one of the biggest challenges for speedrunning Dark Souls, or even Elden Ring, but especially Dark Souls, I would say.
Is there, so not dying is obviously vital from what you're saying. Is there, or are there, any particular bosses or platforming or anything like that that is a run killer? Like, no matter how good you get, how experienced you are at this game, there is always that something that can just end your run if you get careless.
Yeah, for DS1 specifically, it's always Ornstein and Smo. Like, it's a very popular dual boss fight, and I feel like no matter what, either you just get wrecked because they decide to misbehave in a way, because you don't just need to have one boss behave, you need to have 2 bosses behave, or they will cost you so much time that you reset anyway, even if you beat them. So that would be my guess for Dark Souls 1. Maybe if Pop wants to say something about DS3 or Elden Ring.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, DS3, No, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't run these games, so like at least wise.
Even if you were on the two-player one controller, like what would if you're doing that as a rando, like, what would you really not want to see?
I mean, Malenia. In Elden Ring, for example, Malenia, I guess if you do all remembrances, I would assume that Malenia in general is pretty difficult. Elden Ring also, what comes to mind is Fierce Champions. That is an NPC boss fight, and NPCs are kind of famous for being very annoying in Souls games. Because they just dodge a lot of your attacks, they run around, they're obnoxious because they have infinite stamina, infinite mana, so they can just spam their spells at you while you need to refresh your mana and all that kind of stuff. And so those are probably the run killers in Elden Ring. In DS3, I'm actually not too sure.
Yeah, in DS3, I would say it's mostly DLC bosses, because I mentioned them earlier, they're usually beefier than the base game. So it also means you will be in the fight for longer, meaning you need to play better for longer, and you also need to get more good patterns, more good attacks. So I would say those are probably the most challenging usually.
Yep, the stakes are higher and more likely to make a mistake just because of how long and how much dodging you have to do. Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely makes sense.
Yep. Just one slip up and the whole thing's gone, which I know is a thing in speedrunning anyway, but damn if it doesn't really feel like it in these games. You mentioned it's more about a knowledge check kind of thing, right? And I know you also, I mean, you don't just run, right? You make YouTube content about speedruns. Which one came first?
Oh, the speedrunning. I mean, I've been speedrunning for a long time. Like, I first started in, I think, 2012. So I've been around for a hot minute. Here and there, like I took breaks for a couple of years, but it was mostly just speedrunning for the love of it. And then I started speedrunning Dark Souls. I really enjoyed that as well, and I thought that there are some really cool stories and mechanics that are not very obvious. Because, as I said, they're not the most mechanically demanding. So I always give this example. Like, if you don't know, and you're watching a speedrun of something like a 2D Mario, you can tell when something's impressive, right? Like, a person doing the run does like some really cool looking platforming, or there's a bullet hell that they have to dodge, and it's very clear. In Dark Souls, sometimes cool things happen, and you have no idea what's happening on screen if you are not in the know. And the people who are in the know are the speedrunners. And so I wanted to kind of bridge that gap and bring this knowledge over to maybe the people that like the Souls games, but they do not really understand the speedruns because there's no really good resources. And so I looked into like the cool stories that we had and the cool glitches, and I started making videos about those.
Yeah, we've had a few people come on this podcast and talk to us and kind of say what gets represented on YouTube for a speedrun is either like you just watch the run and it's not obvious what's going on sometimes, or even worse, people might take content from a run and misrepresent it and say like this is all that's going on in this trick, when actually technically there's a lot more underneath that people don't get to see. And for sure, I'm one of those people that wants to know absolutely everything, like exactly what's going on here, because that makes it more interesting, right? It's not about the feat, but it's about what actually has to go into it on the technical side. I guess I should ask then, what's your kind of like your favorite trick in these games? Do you have a favorite kind of exploit or trick that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I think one fascinating trick is called equip slot manipulation in Dark Souls 1. And essentially what you can do is through some very clever menuing, because in Dark Souls 1 specifically, the menus are fairly broken. Like, you can open multiple prompts at the same time. And as such, you are able to equip an item type into a slot that it should not belong to. So for example, you can equip a consumable into a ring slot. And then the game does not actually check if the item is the correct type. It only checks its ID. So that means if there's a corresponding ID in a different item category, you can turn a consumable into a ring, for example, which saves a lot of time in Dark Souls 1, because one of the most important rings is the Red Tearstone ring, which doubles your damage when you're low HP. And it's quite far out of the way. So instead, what the speedrunners do nowadays is they pick up a consumable with the same ID that is much closer, and then they use equip slot manipulation to obtain the effects of the ring despite never actually having picked it up.
That's cool. That's cool. So what you're saying is that if I eventually get engaged, I can just give them a sandwich instead of a ring and say, don't worry, it's got the same ID. It's got the same ID underneath as an engagement ring.
Yeah, if you do it correctly. Yeah. I'm sure.
Easy money save.
Oh, I love that. Don't actually send me sandwiches, I'll get annoyed.
They won't survive in the post. Rings.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, send rings. Actually, send us some rings. What's the? I meant to ask as well. What's the community like around these games? Because hugely popular anyway, right? And also hugely popular for runs. Is the community, pretty big? Is it growing? What are the kind of trends right now that you see?
I think it's ever growing, especially with Elden Ring. That was just such a big success for From Software. I think before, Souls games were definitely very niche. Still popular, I'd say for a niche game, quite the big niche. But with Elden Ring, it really exploded in popularity, and it brought a lot of new people to the other Souls games as well. And also, there's even still for the old games, there's new things being discovered. I'm actually not sure if those people maybe joined because of Elden Ring and then looked at the old games, or if they were just around and they just found new tricks. But it's popular enough that people are still looking, even for Dark Souls 1, for new things and to exploit for the speedruns. And generally, I'd say the community is just, the people who love Souls games, they really love Souls games and they can't get enough of it. And everyone's always hoping for the next game that FromSoft is making. And so ever growing, I'd say.
Nice. And outside of the Soulslikes, what are the kind of other games that you generally enjoy playing? I know I've dropped in a few times, Puppery, and you've been playing Stardew Valley, which could not be more different from Soulslikes. What kind of other games are you into for run purposes or non-run purposes?
Yeah, recently I've been playing. For a long time I only played Souls games and the challenge runs there. But now, recently I've been branching out a little bit more, and I'm kind of getting the new game bug again. And it started actually with Clair Obscur. So I finally, I heard so many good things about that game, and I really wanted to experience it. And so I played that, and I absolutely loved it. And after that, I now played Nier Automata. That was the last one. That was an experience. Also a very popular game, but it's an experience. I enjoyed it, but very, very interesting. And it's I don't know. I guess I've been really enjoying games with a lot of story now. Maybe also because From Software's story is very abstract. Like, you really have to search for it, maybe listen to some lore videos. And so now it's been kind of nice playing some games where they actually try to have quite the story-driven game, and you just experience that while getting to know the characters and all that. It's been very fun.
It's that kind of environmental storytelling, I think they call it, right? Mm-hmm. Like where you kind of, it's not kind of fed to you on a plate. You kind of discover the story through your own interpretation as you discover the world and the things in it.
Yeah, which is also amazing. Like, I do love that about From Software as well, that they don't exactly like shove it down your throat of like, this is the obvious meaning, but I do like that also different people can interpret it in their own way. And so depending on your life experiences, you might think, oh, this has a different meaning than some other person would say, and it leads to a lot of fun discussions. And I think that's another thing that the community really loves about those games.
And Cata, what kind of other games do you tend to, I guess in your case, run?
Yeah, I mean, I've at this point, I haven't done that many active runs of the other games. I usually keep them like on standby to submit to marathons if needed. For example, my OG game series was Prince of Persia. That's what I started speedrunning with. So, for example, Warrior Within is a really short run. It's like under 20 minutes, so it's very easy to submit to a marathon. And because I've been involved with the speedrunning community for so long, I have like a lot of these kind of offshoots that I can always kind of tap into. But I haven't really run them actively at all since I started Souls games. I guess one thing that I can say is that, for example, last summer after ESA, we very often have these Mirror's Edge relay races at ESA, right? And I
yes.
really got the bug for Mirror's Edge after last summer, so I played Mirror's Edge just offline, chilling for like, I don't know, maybe 2 months. Like, I learned all of the newest tricks, and I de-rusted all the chapters, and I ran for some PBs as well, but I never streamed any of that or recorded any of it, so I guess that was just like purely for the joy of it. But yeah, like besides Dark Souls 1 at the moment and Elden Ring, I don't really run anything else.
That's fair. So you haven't picked up Sewer Rave as a run game of your choice.
After my Sewer Rave tournament experience, where I watched my commentators play more than I played the game myself, I decided to retire from active competition in that scene.
And maybe for me it would have led me to Minecraft speedruns instead, because I had to play Sewer Rave in Minecraft instead, and it was a disaster. So. Very fun though.
Oh, Sewer Rave. Yeah, I was also going to ask you. You kind of alluded to doing it for Clair Obscur, but do you typically play games together, or do you kind of explore your own directions for games if you're playing casually?
I mean, I would say we actually play quite a bit together offline. So like just. Usually we get into something together, like now Clair Obscur. Before we were playing something on the Switch, whenever we felt like it.
It was a game called Chained Echoes. Yeah, it's like a one-person developed JRPG. It's very cute and very easy to play on the Switch.
Yeah, so just to chill, and we actually have been playing a lot of Teamfight Tactics. Both of us. Okay.
What's that movement about?
Okay, Teamfight Tactics is basically my other gaming love, I would say, besides Souls games. I've been. It's the auto battler from League of Legends. So, and everyone's gonna say, "Oh no, League of Legends," but it's basically auto chess, which means you. Have a selection of champions or like characters that you can buy in a shop, and they then get put on a board, and you play against 7 other people, and then 1 round at a time you play against 1 person, and both your little armies basically fight each other, and you can give them items and you can upgrade them and make them stronger. And that came out like quite a few years ago now, and I've been playing it ever since it came out. And then I took some breaks, and now recently I got very much back into it. Like for a while I just played it whenever I was sick, because you can play it on the tablet. And so whenever I had to be in bed, I would just play it on the tablet, and sometimes Cata would watch me play. And now recently though, they released a new set, so they have like every year they have like 3 different sets where they change all the characters that you could buy, and a lot of stuff about the game. Doesn't really matter, but the last one was just really exciting, and so I got really back into it, and I kind of made Cata also get into it. And so now he's been very invested as well, and it's been a lot of fun, and now we actually learn a lot about that game together, and that is really fun as well. So we basically study each other's games as well, because it is competitive. Like there's ranked mode, and we both do a lot of ranked, and so can we sometimes review our games together and like think about what could we have done better, and there's a lot of strategy involved, and so that's a lot of fun to get into together.
Who's got the higher rank?
Well, so far it's me, because I mean I've been playing this since the game came out, right? So I guess that is kind of fair, but Cata is has caught up like at high speed, and I honestly think he's gonna have the higher rank very soon.
So how many league points do you have currently in Masters?
Okay.
I think it's 0, and I have 2 league points, so I'm 2
by now
points
you
ahead.
have Decade too. You can check right now.
Puppery is definitely better at the game still, but we're very similar in rank, I have to say. Okay, we're very, very similar.
No, so at some point, like, currently there's a new set, so it changes again now, and so the new set is already on the public beta test environment now, and usually what happens is, like, all the people abandon the old one on live servers then and already play the new one, but just on PvE. And when you don't play the live server, though, your rank falls off. If you're at master rank or above, like, at some point, yeah, you don't play, you just lose your points. So now I'm at 0.
Well, and we checked, as we saw not too long ago, we checked the maths, and 2 is in fact bigger than 0. So it's pretty clear then.
It is fair.
At the time of recording.
At the time of recording.
I don't know. Something
Maybe
could change.
I gotta play some.
Well, you know, we would hate to kind of, like, I don't know, drive a wedge in between you by making you compete with each other. Anyway, here's the section of our podcast where we ask our guests a quiz.
Oh no.
So yeah, we didn't prime you with this, but this is we can actually make this a special quiz because if you think back to ESA Summer 2025, which both of you played in the finale quiz in, and there was a incentive to decide the category of bonus questions. And we know what won because nobody wants to talk about advanced mathematical study and algorithm theory ever again. But something that did not get picked was Soulslikes. So I thought it would only be fair to bring those questions back to you today. And we'll just have a little casual friendly. This is not going to be our official final split quiz. This is going to be something a little bit different because we got 2 guests. So, of course, it's not fair to pitch 2v1. So we'll have Catalystz and Puppery playing separately. But then, Soth Angel, you're going to play a metagame.
Okay.
Because you're going to have 3 Catalystz tokens and 3 Puppery tokens. And for each question, you're going to choose which answer of theirs you want to take. And so you might win. You might get the best of both worlds and win this.
Wow.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to see.
So, if we are ready, disclaimer as well, some of these questions were not written by myself. Just in case we get any complaints, don't send them to me. Right, first question. Which character has appeared in Demon's Souls, the Dark Souls series, Elden Ring, and Bloodborne? So write your answers down somewhere. Like, you can put it on Notepad, or you can get Catalystz, you don't need to throw your hands in the air. You have a literal PC in front of you. It has a notepad function.
Oh, yeah.
Notepad is acceptable. On a system here, we believe people are gonna play fairly.
Honestly, the amount of people, when I say just like write your answers somewhere, the amount of people that like try and search for a physical pen and paper, like it's 1876.
I have my answer.
Okay.
I have my answer, but I'm not sure how to show it to you guys.
We just go on an honest system.
Yeah.
We just go on an honest system. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you
fair.
just write it down and then you tell us at the end. Yeah. And yeah, we'll do Soth Angel's tokens during the actual answers. So, question 2 is, in Elden Ring, who serves as Ranni's shadow? And remember, these are the questions that you could have had last summer. Question 3. Also in Elden Ring, how many seedbed curses are required to complete the Dung Eater's quest line? You need to complete a quest when you just complete the game quickly.
Complete that game.
Well, guess a number and it might be right. Question. Are we ready for question 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Question 4. I did write this one. Which top-down indie game that is heavily inspired by Dark Souls features a small playable rodent who can use his own ghosts? So it's a Souls-like, but you play as a small rodent who can use his own ghosts. And if you don't know, just guess. Just guess.
We do like funny guess names. They are.
We do.
Always worth it.
Who knows? It could be right.
Could be right.
It could be right. Do you want number 5? Yeah? Okay, number 5. Which Elden Ring boss was repurposed from assets that were cut content from Dark Souls 3? Now, this is the one that, like, we might get fact checked on, but I think from what I saw, it seems accurate. So which one of the Elden Ring bosses was actually a repurposed asset that was going to be cut content from Dark Souls 3?
I feel like I've heard this one before and I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. There's a lot of things that they repurposed that was even in Dark Souls 3. Like, From Software are very efficient at reusing movesets, but something that was cut from the game, I'm also not exactly sure.
I think they found like the model in Dark Souls 3 or a mesh or something like that that matched.
Sort of remnants of something left unfinished.
Yeah, exactly. If you've guessed something, then we'll go to question 6, which is the final question. In patch 1.00 of Elden Ring, the long-tail cat talisman depicts the beloved pet of which NPC? So whose pet is on the long-tail cat talisman? South Angel, do you think you know the answers to any of these?
I don't think I do. I've done a little bit of research into Elden Ring for writing quiz questions for other things.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've touched on any of the things that we mentioned.
Because I was thinking, I don't know if I don't think you've played Elden Ring, so
no, I've not played Elden Ring.
That's why I was like, the fairest thing to do is not ask you these, but you're gonna
if I had multiple choice, then maybe I could get some. But I think the extent was I did a quad on questions about Jennifer English, who voices one of the characters in Elden Ring. So I had to look into that character and the sort of quest associated with the character to properly write down the question.
But it's multiple choice. You're either right or you're wrong.
Yeah, you're either right or you're wrong. It's 50-50. It's always 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50, yeah. Right, we will go back through the answers. And after each question, I'm going to ask South Angel whether she wants to take... Do you actually... do I want to... Yeah, I think because when you say answers, you probably get reactions from each other. So I'm going to ask Sophie to pick which one of you she wants to take the answer from before you give the answers.
Can you read the question first, and then I'll pick
Yes,
someone?
I will.
Yeah.
I will. That's a very long-winded way of saying, here's an example. Which characters appeared in Demon's Souls, the Dark Souls series, Elden Ring, and Bloodborne? Whose answer do you want to take for this, Sophie?
I'm going to give Puppery's answer.
Puppery, okay. Right, so Catalystz, what did you write?
I wrote Patches.
And Puppery?
Same, Patches.
Everyone gets a point!
Yay!
It is Patches.
Well done.
Next I asked in Elden Ring, who serves as Ranni's shadow? Sophie, who are you going to go with for this one?
Let's go Puppery again.
Okay, Puppery again. Let's go Puppery this time. What did you write?
Blythe.
And Catalystz?
Yeah, it's Blythe.
And everyone gets 2 points. Yay!
Yay!
Okay, but now things might shake up a little bit. How many seedbed curses are required to complete the Dung Eater's quest line?
Let's switch it up. Go to Catalystz for this one.
Okay, we're going Catalyst for this one. And what was your answer, Catalyst?
I said 5 curses.
5.
I also
okay.
said 5.
What?
That's so funny.
Incredibly, everyone is correct yet again. It is 5. It is
What?
5
Okay,
curses.
Wow,
you seem
that's
like
a
you
complete
didn't know
guess.
that at all. Really?
I was clueless. I thought I wrote down 11, and then I was like, nah, that's way too many. Ain't no way there's even 11 seedbed curses in the game.
Yeah.
And so I changed it just to 5 because I was like, oh, maybe it's like, yeah.
An inspired change. Worked well.
Yeah. Well done. Okay, which top-down indie game, heavily inspired by Dark Souls, has a small playable rodent who can use his own ghosts? Whose answer are we taking this time, Sophie?
Got to go back to Puppery.
Okay, Puppery. What did you write, Puppery?
I said Scholar of the Dark Red. So, yeah, it's...
Scholar of the Dark Rat, okay. Catalysts?
I said Elden Mouse.
Elden Mouse.
Elden Mouse.
I'll
Nice.
tell you, Catalyst is closer. Catalyst is closer. It's Dark Mouse.
Oh,
that was my initial. Oh, no way. That was the first
Mouse.
answer I
Yeah.
had. No.
Yeah.
That's
Mouse.
crazy.
We did half points. That feels like a half point
Sometimes
answer.
the clue is in the question. Yeah.
Unlucky. Very, very close.
But hey, everyone's still equally good on the scores. Now, what about which Elden Ring boss was repurposed from assets that were cut content from Dark Souls 3? I think we're going Catalystz for the last two questions because I said, yeah, you get 3 one way, 3 the other way. So what did you put, Catalystz?
I put, what did I put? I said Radahn.
Okay. Puppery?
I said Erdtree Avatar.
Well, the answer I've got here is the Red Wolf of Radagon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that one's interesting because there's actually a boss in the Dark Souls 3 DLC that has some of Red Wolf's moveset. It's the Wolf Grave Tender. Yeah, so it's... I don't know if, like, maybe he was cut as well. Like, that's possible that there was another version of it, but they did repurpose some of the attacks there, for sure.
Yeah, could have been cut from the original game. Cut from the original game.
Perhaps. That actually makes sense.
Yeah. Like I say, don't at me. So, in patch 1.0 of Elden Ring, the Longtail Cat Talisman depicts the beloved pet of which NPC? It's going to come down to this question. Let's go Puppery first.
I have no idea, but I said Rani.
Okay, Catalystz?
Yeah, I said NPC pet IDK LMAO Rani.
Well, okay, so, Catalystz, you have the correct answer if you had answered the same thing as the last question. It's Radahn.
Oh, interesting.
It's
Wait,
Radahn.
Radahn has a cat?
It's Radahn.
Doesn't have to be a cat. I mean, Longtail Cat Talisman could show a horse.
Okay, that's confusing though, because you said NPC and Radahn is not really an NPC, right?
I mean,
I guess he's a non-player character, but like I just thought of NPC like someone
not
that
NPC
you can talk to.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
I don't know.
He's not a player character. I should have just said character, I guess. Either way, though, that leads us to the incredible 3-way tie between Catalystz, Puppery, and Soth Angel, all on 3 points each. It's a 3-3-3. I can't think of a better way to round that off. And you could have had those questions last summer.
Could have, yeah.
Yeah, did really well on the. I'm really impressed by getting the 5. The 5 for the quest line right. So we have just about got time to plug some things before we finish. So where can people find you and your runs on Twitch and YouTube?
You go first.
I go first? Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently I have to go first. So yeah, people can find me on Twitch. I stream 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, twitch.tv/CatalystZ. Currently I'm working on a very challenging run from Dark Souls 1. So I just recently finished something called the French Challenge for Elden Ring, where you try to defeat all of the bosses randomized, use what you get, so auto-equip for any item that you find, and deathless. So I finished that fairly quickly for Elden Ring, because I had decent amount of experience with those kinds of runs. And then I thought, well, what if I just bring it to Dark Souls 1? And so now I'm doing the same run in Dark Souls 1, where instead of 207 bosses, I only have to defeat 26. But it is infinitely harder because Dark Souls 1 has just so many small things that can completely screw you over. So it took me 3 attempts for Elden Ring, and currently I'm actually, and this is no joke, I'm at the 67th attempt for Dark Souls already, yeah? So
wow.
It's pretty tough. So you can find me there on Twitch, and then also on YouTube, Catalystz as well, as Toasty mentioned earlier. I do post speedrunning content there in terms of some storylines and glitch explanations and stuff, and it's all fairly highly produced. Like, I have to pat myself on the back a little bit and say that you've probably not seen speedrunning videos like that. So if you're interested in Soul speedrunning, give it a watch.
I can vouch for that. Check out the videos; they're really cool. Even as a especially even if you're a little bit of a speedrunning noob, I think even just like the editing is gonna be very very impressive, and it's fun. It's like a small little movie. And for me, you can find me also on Twitch, twitch.tv/Puppery. And I stream there 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I mean, I usually play a lot of Elden Ring as well, but currently I am branching out a little bit So next up, I'm going to be playing Baldur's Gate 3 for the first time ever. So I don't know anything about the game. I'm trying to play a few games that I've always heard a lot of people love. And I want to experience them for myself now. And I live under a massive rock, so I don't know anything about the games. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to find out more about them. Yep.
Wonderful.
Nice. And anything else you want to shout out? Any other kind of marathons, communities, runners?
I mean, like just a shout out to ESA, which you maybe already know about if you're listening to this. But yeah, definitely consider coming to ESA Summer. Both Cata and I have been volunteering at ESA for the past few events as well, and it's such a blast. It's such a wonderful event, so definitely go support that marathon. Come in person if you want to, you know, even if you're maybe a little bit shy and haven't really done that before. Even if you're just a community member and don't even speedrun, but you love to watch speedrunning, it's the place to go. It's very fun. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you can also, there's a lot of people who love quizzes or other games. You can just walk around, see someone play a game, and they'll love to talk to you about it. So yeah, I couldn't
agree more with that. And since this was a little bit of a Souls flair to this podcast, I also want to shout out soulspeedruns.com. We have an entire wiki dedicated to Soul speedrunning, and there are Discord links. So if you have any questions, you can join in, and there's channels for all the different games from DS1 to DS3 to Elden Ring to Night Rain. You'll find everything there. So that's the place to be.
Awesome. Thank you both. Any last shout outs from you, South Angel?
Keep on watching. Yeah, you know, got some good things being made by all of our guests that we've had on. I know I'm going to catch Puppery's playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Always good to see people play some of your favourite games for the first time. Like, I'm absolutely going to be there for that.
Nice. I got a quick one because I've neglected in the past few episodes to shout out JPP, which is the French bad, jank, weird game speedrun marathon. We had that a few weeks ago. You can find them at JPP_speedrun. But there's been a few restreams since, including a restream of in English language. Big Bad Game-a-thon, so go check that out if you want to see runs of Jurassic Park 2 for the SNES, Titanic, and Bob Le Bricoleur. But I think that's it from us. We are just about at time, so we'll see you next time on SprintStream. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.